Unfortunately, propaganda is a lot more complicated than just being good or bad, and if you want a great example of that, take a look at Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator. Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator tells the story of Jewish people living in the fictional country of Tovania under the Tovanian regime. This is a very thinly veiled allegory for Nazis and Nazi Germany. Charlie Chaplin is double cast as both a Jewish man, an unnamed barber, and also the Great Dictator himself, Adenhoyd Hinkel. At the very end of the film, the barber is mistaken for Adenhoyd Hinkel and is told that he has to give a rousing speech to the troops in order to inspire them to invade the fictional country of Austerlitz, which is representative of Poland. And instead of telling them that they should invade Austerlitz, he actually gives a very famous 5-minute long speech about the good in humanity and how everyone should not give themselves up to dictators, men who don't actually care about you, who would never lay down their lives for you the way they're asking for you to lay down yours for them, and talks about how there should be a world of equality amongst everyone. This was, in and of itself, pro-World War II propaganda. And it was released in America during a time in which American masses did not approve of going into World War II. In fact, only 23% of Americans at that time were in favor of declaring war on Germany and sending troops. However, after The Great Dictator, which then also inspired a string of other propaganda films, especially combined with the attack on Pearl Harbor, American approval of joining World War II increased to about 94%. The Great Dictator was unapologetically propaganda. It was trying to convince people to join a political movement, and it was propaganda that was used for good. The important thing to note about propaganda, what is important when it comes to propaganda is not whether or not it is good or bad. Propaganda is simply a tool. The important thing with propaganda is knowing what the cause the propaganda is advocating for and understanding the ramifications of that, whether it is good or bad. Propaganda has largely been popularized during times in which police criticism is at all-time highs. First Law & Order SVU started in the 1990s after the Rodney King trials, trying to convince people, hey, cops aren't bad, just a few bad apples. That is propaganda being used negatively, which is why it's important to engage with something that might be propaganda by asking yourself, okay, what are the times in which this is being released? What is the message it is trying to say? And do I agree with the cause it's promoting? And don't be afraid to be wrong. We've all fallen for propaganda in some way in our lifetimes. It's normal. It's natural. Just be aware of it and be cautious.